Hi, you guys. Long time no see. I wanted to do a full face of NARS today and show you some of the newer stuff that I picked up in their spring sale. And I'm going to start off like laying a little quick eyeshadow base down. So this is a little quad that I've had for a while. And this purpley satin shade is just a good transitional kind of all over shade. I'll take a little bit of this pinky glittery kind of in the middle. And then I'm using the NARS pencil to tightline a little bit, and I'm going to curl my lashes. This is the Shiseido lash curler. And then for mascara, I don't have the NARS one, so I'm going to use my regular one, which is this Too Faced one. And as far as the bottom lash, I'm going to go back to that in a second because I have a new concealer to try. And I might put on some lash clusters later. I'll see how it all goes together. All right. So for my base, so far I just have on some moisturizer. I agonize over what shade to choose in the light reflecting foundation. I've tried their soft matte one and it just didn't work for my skin. So I was super excited when they came out with the new version of their matte foundation, and I was gonna get it as soon as it came out. And then they released the ingredient list and it has an ingredient that I just can't deal with. So I ended up not being able to try that one. However, I have never tried this one before, even though I know it's not a new release or anything. So I'm excited to see, first of all, if the shade match is going to be sufficient. I got the shade Gobi. I know that it's probably going to be one of those situations where the undertone is right, but it's probably going to be far too light. So if that's the case, I may have to get a darker shade to mix it with. But let's do a little swatch for now. Let's see kind of what we're working with. Okay, it's very, very, very watery. I didn't expect that much to come out. And I'm not really sure how much to use, so I'll just go with my normal amount. I'm gonna go with this foundation brush. It's kind of dense. It's an Energy 170S. It's an Amazon one, but I have two of these. I really like it. Okay, I'm scared. You know, okay, so far we're okay. I have very, very, very dry skin. So normally I would absolutely use a primer, but I want to see how it does with just moisturizer, you know. Okay, I don't know if it's supposed to be that watery. Please let me know because I just squirted out way, way, way too much. I don't know, it's thin though, so hopefully that'll be okay. I feel like I'm adding far too much. And I'm getting better results from kind of applying in this manner, like the swiping rather than dabbing it in, unless I'm using a sponge. Okay, this is fine so far because as I said, I agonized between this shade and the next one up. Actually, it looks ghastly on camera. Absolutely ghastly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it doesn't appear that light in person, just so you know. However, I think it is a little too light for sure. Okay, I just have a little left on my finger, and it doesn't seem to be sticking very well to my nose. Just fine. That's expected, but it's not sticking. Okay. Yeah. It looks far too light, just like the Soft Matte Complete foundation. Like once I get it on, it looks far, far, far too light. So maybe I need to go the next shade up to Duville. Now would be a good time to add bronzer. So I'm going to use the NARS Laguna. This is the lightest shade, I think, in 01. There we go. Oof. Yeah, it looks really, really light on camera right now. So this is a necessary step. Get a little more on my brush. Maybe even just a tad more. Oh goodness. Okay. Now, I am so excited about this blush. I'm excited about just what they're putting out right now in general. So I know they have a new release coming up with the blushes that are in the circular compact that look like the new highlighters. But before that, maybe a month or two ago, they came out with more in this format. And I got one of the shades. This is Loves Me Not. It looked a little boring in the pan, but this is so pretty. Like the formula is great. I've never tried these before, but it's really good. The color, it's one of those like shimmery ones where I wouldn't normally wear a highlighter with it. Like this can do what you need it to do. All right. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this. And like I said, I wouldn't normally even wear a highlighter with this. Although it's really not overly sparkly. It's very balanced, just beautiful. All right. I'm going to go in with the concealer. I also agonized over what shade to get in this. It's the Radiant Creamy Concealer, and I ended up deciding on the shade Vanilla. So I have swatched this, and it is definitely a little bit pink. So it's going to be used mostly on my under eyes because I really don't spot conceal. So this could make my under eyes look a little ashy or dull. And I'm also not sure how much to really use. So I'll just go in with how much I normally would. And I'm going to blend it out kind of with I'll use this Eco Tools. Oh yeah, I don't know. We'll know more after it dries down. I don't know if it's gonna look really pink. And that actually didn't seem like enough either. I'm gonna do a little more, a little lower. maybe in the corner. I'm not sure if there would be a better shade for me because I've looked in store and not really seen a better option, so. Well, it looks beautiful. It didn't cling to anything, which is nice. I want to circle back real quick though with the eyeshadow palette and add some underneath now that my concealer is on, and I'm still using that same shade from earlier that I was raving about. And I'll even go in with this darker purple, just a bit in the center towards the corner. I try to keep darker shades off the outer corner because my eye waters there and my eyes are like a little bit downturned. So if I bring it that way, it can age me a bit. So I usually start at the center and just bring it in actually. Very lightly. Sorry if the lighting needs a little adjusting. I did get a new phone and then the natural light, like from the window, is kind of going in and out. So hopefully that doesn't look too bad. So the last thing I got was the luminizer in the shade Eros. I got it in the refill format so I can just put it in a magnetic palette, and I thought they were going to send it in cardboard and they sent it in plastic. I'm like, oh no. I was trying to be good with the environment and they actually sent it in this plastic container inside of cardboard. I was like, oh no. And it's really hard to open. Like, you would definitely need to put it into a compact. I might have a compact it'll fit in though, but this looks really intense. So I'm going to go somewhat lightly with this. I think this is a fan brush. It's a 447 by Real Techniques. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a very intense one. And I also was really intrigued by the shade Heavenly, which is like a rose gold. And in their next, I think it's on the 1st, on April 1st, when they release some more of the new format blush shades, they have a peach one that looks like it could almost be a highlighter. So I'm curious about that too. Okay, it's not as, this is also giving ColourPop Flexitarian shade-wise. Yeah, it's not too intense. It's nice. I thought it was going to be, based on the swatch, I thought it was going to be a lot more metallic. But this is fine. I prefer it that way. Very nice. Actually, since we're at this point, I don't mind putting it a little on the inner corner just to see what it's going to look like. Oh, okay. Yeah, it almost looks a bit wet. That's nice. Maybe we'll put some up here as well. Tie it together a little. That's nice. Okay. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna take their light reflecting setting powder and powder just a bit in the center around my lips so I can finish up. I don't require much, so Just helps my lip liner stay in place. I'm gonna use their lip liner. This is the shade Vince. This is a pretty intense pink on me. All right. And then I have their Air Matte in the shade Gypsy. I'm sorry if that's a bad word, but that is what it's called. All right, I want to add a little bit more eyeshadow because it's not giving what I expected it to give. I'm gonna take more of the pink sparkly shade and build that up a little bit more. Then I'm gonna take my brush and kind of blend this area because it's looking unpolished. All right, let me get into some different. So now that I'm in some more natural lighting, it does look a little light and a little pink, even though the foundation is pretty yellow compared to like my body. It's still a little light, even with bronzing up. But the concealer shade matches better than I expected, and I did really like the highlighter. All right, so that is the final look. Let me know what you thought and if you're going to be picking up any of the new items that they're going to be releasing soon. Bye, have a wonderful weekend.